Thank you, Shunya. I also wanted to keep exploring with you. I've been reflecting on the frustration, and you said to get it burning as hot as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like something that you said today about not being the doer was really important, because as I tried to like imagine what does it mean to get it burning hotter, it sort of diffused itself. Like I couldn't force myself to be more frustrated. And so, I mean, I ended up laughing at myself, so that was good.
Well, I'm glad that one worked. That's good.
But I feel like what you were saying about not being the doer is part of what I am stuck not being able to fully grok or understand, because there's been such an obsession with doing and doing things well, and like that's part of the not the ego ideal, but the ideal ego that was created in my mind has all this attachment to doing things really well, and so it's like I have to do something in order to free myself. I have to. It's my, and I'm not doing it right, and I'm not doing it enough. So that's part of what creates this self-frustration, right?
Yes, that's common. Though you've been indoctrinated into that belief. We're in a culture of doing, not of being. Being has been jettisoned in the modern period. It's gone. That's all we do. Produce, accomplish, change, bring the new, and never stay still. Keep moving, keep running. And toward what? But you got to be a rebel even without a cause. But you've got to keep on this, let's say, pointless pilgrimage of becoming the ideal that you don't even know what it is or why you want it, right? Because it was a program. It had nothing to do with your free will choice. It was taking in commands of superego voices that are still hitting you with a whip to push you forward. You don't want to be frustrated, and you don't want to be in this situation, so you have no free will. That means, are you the doer? No, that's the delusion, because you can't do anything. There's nothing you can do to get out of the rut that your ego is in, because the ego and the rut are one. That's what the ego is. And it can be very frustrated if it wants to get out of it, but you can't get out of it, because that's the ego's program. I want, I want, I want. And so it longs for something. And it's a long rut that just gets longer and longer, but you never get into a higher dimension. It's a one-dimensional rut, and then the world is just flat land. It's not real. It's not any longer beautiful. You're not present because you're thinking about what you're going to do in the future, right? So there's never full presence. And there's always a repression of all the negative self-images. I'm a failure, I didn't do it, and right? They are always threatening to come up and then make you even more frustrated and angry at yourself and beat yourself up, etc., right? So there's no free will. If you don't control your own mind, you cannot control anything else. So give up this delusion of being a doer. No, you've been done to, but you have no ability to do anything except continue that rut going, okay? Once you recognize that, you have to say, this can't be all there is, right? That's when you will decide to, what about my consciousness before I got trained to be in that rut? What if I felt free of the need to produce in this particular way that I'm stuck in? What if I'm free to reimagine myself? What kind of a life would I really want now for myself? Who am I to myself really when I let go of all of this noise and demand from the superego other? And then discover there's infinitely more to you than you have any idea of, because all you know is the part that's in the rut, and you have no idea of the vastness of consciousness itself. The more you start to wonder about that and allow the creative intelligence from that larger self to come in, the more you'll free yourself from the rut. But the one that accomplishes it is the larger intelligence, not the one you think you are in the rut. The more you surrender to that intelligence, the more you will become the master who is able to control your ego instead of being under its control and achieve freedom. But you have to go through that letting go, emptiness, and then receive the power of fullness.
Thank you, Shunya. It's beautiful. If I may just ask, because there's many actions in that response, the wondering, the surrendering, the letting go.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've said these things to me in the past, and I feel like what happens is the doer mindset makes that into something that I have to do, right? And then I can't actually do it, and then, like you said, I just continue down that route.
The problem is you're identified with thinking, right? You don't have control of your thinking, but you're identified with it, and you believe you are thinking, rather than thoughts are just arising on their own in your mind and pushing you around, because those thoughts are causing the behavior and the emotions and everything. You are not. You're witnessing it, and you see your mind is out of control. If you really look at it carefully, you'll see you have no control over the thoughts that come up or the feeling states you're in. Like you went from frustration to happiness and laughter. You didn't plan it. It happened to you. You didn't do anything, okay, except pay attention and be present. So the more you are present, the more you will realize you're not that machine that's creating all those chaotic thoughts. No. You are pure awareness, and you can put those thoughts on pause, or you can delete the whole program. You have the power to do that, okay? And you can reimagine yourself from a total state of freedom, not from enslavement to the self-images that you were forced to take in from the other. So recognize freedom lies in a deeper stratum of your consciousness than the one your ego lets you be in. And the more you disidentify from the thoughts, the more wisdom and power you will have.
Thank you. I think opening up to that wondering feels like the most accessible part of that.
Wonder is the key, because then you'll be open to listening and being present. So stay in that state. Okay, namaste.